just did the combat training for the center plate that's up, dog and I can't remember the name of it, but he just accepted a position at Stevens, so he's going to be there. Yeah.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, nice to see you.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing today?
Pretty quiet day today, right?
Is that right?
Here it is.
Oh, gosh.
I got two meetings from, I did respond to that pretty long time.
Oh, you're going to,
My kids.
So I guess I'll just keep coming.
So if there's somebody that's interested in building and creating sets, that's all. Unless there's somebody has an idea. I just went to the executive play and said, they do that annual scrutiny. And they built this set. Because I've seen this done several times. That was pretty neat the way they did it. They got a guy now that they use, he is part of the social play. They do things.
I know that this is kind of hard, but it's hard to do. And I don't choose.
Those are the
I
kind of
got
things
enough
that
of these
give somebody a small.
I know, but not, you never know what the issue's gonna be, and then you're just like, oh.
The thing about Matthew is, I remember one time I went to the door of music, because my wife was taking some to us, and there was this young, I want to say comedian slash magician, you know, and I mean, he looked at me and really funny, and you know, so they pulled somebody up from the audience, and he went up there, you get Matthew up there.
I'd be curious, cause I didn't know that.
Matthew played right along with it. He was just and the facial reactions that he gave, and I was just crowding out.
Well, the Bucks have to make
Good morning. Welcome to the Rapid City Planning Commission meeting for November 9th, 2023. If any member of the audience wishes to speak to an item on this enormous agenda, there are speaker request forms on the table along the left wall. Please fill out the request with the agenda number of the item you wish to speak to and hand it to the staff seated around the room. At this time, we would also like to ask that if any member of the audience has a cell phone or other electronic device, that you either turn it off or turn the ringer to silent. If you need to take a call, please step out to the hallway so the meeting is not disrupted. Item number 1 has been placed on the consent calendar, and if any member of the audience may remove item number 1 from the consent calendar. Any planning commissioner or staff member is also welcome to do that at this time. Does anybody wish one? Staff, planning, audience? All right. The chair would then entertain a motion to approve the October 26, 2023 Planning Commission meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
All right. Vince made the motion.
Second.
Brooke seconded it. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2.
Good morning. Kip Harrington, Long Range Planning. Item number 2 is 23 UR 030, which is a conditional use permit to allow the construction of a greenhouse in the flood hazard zoning district. As you can see on the slide shown, this is located in the Sioux Park area. Use my cool new tool here, and right in this area of the park's maintenance facilities. And that's not working for me. There we go. Back to the zoning. As you can see, the property is located here. It is in a combination of, oops, wrong button. Still getting used to this thing. It's a combination of park, forest, and flood hazard zoning district. I'm just pass on that for now. Future land use is forest conservation, or Parks and Greenway, I'm sorry. And it's located along Canyon Lake Drive, kind of near the Canyon Lake Senior Center, across the road from that. And Canyon Lake Drive is classified as a principal arterial street on the major street plan. So this is the location of the greenhouse and current greenhouse in the park's maintenance facility. If you look here, this is the existing greenhouse. A portion of this will be demolished. They will retain a portion of it for growing plants. And then down to this area where you can see these vehicles parked, that is the location of the construction of the new greenhouse. So when they demolish this part of the greenhouse, they'll replace the pavement and parking that will be taken up by the new greenhouse, move that up there to the former location of the old greenhouse. This will really expand the capacity of Parks and Rec in the Parks Department to grow additional plants, to get some more things in our parks. So the approximate greenhouse size right now is 2,500 feet. They're going to demolish a big chunk of that and then build a greenhouse of approximately 4,879 square feet. This is set considerably from the road. We'll see as we go through some pictures. Here's the site plan. Again, hard to see, but the new greenhouse is right here, and the old greenhouse is located right up there. So the sign was posted on the property. You can see back here the existing greenhouse. You can see that it's set back quite a ways from the road. It's also lower in elevation than the roadway, which helps kind of mask the height of the greenhouse. This is the existing greenhouse. Like I said, a big portion of this over here will be demolished. I think they'll keep a little chunk over here for some extra plant activities. And then the location of the new greenhouse will be in this area where these parking stalls are striped. Again, some more of the location of the new greenhouse. You can see that it's fenced off. It's in an area with a lot of trees, so it's really going to be secluded from the general public. And then this is looking towards the site. Again, the new greenhouse will be located right over in this area. And with that, we'd just like to note that since this is partially within the flood hazard zoning district, any construction, prior to any construction, a floodplain development permit will be required, but staff is in recommendation of approving this conditional use permit to allow a greenhouse in the flood hazard zoning district. I have Melissa Peterson from Parks Department here if you have any questions for her. Otherwise, I am available for any questions.
Thanks, Kip. Mike Kwasny.
I guess the only question I had, thank you, Mr. Chair. Is it necessary to tear down part of the old greenhouse? It's odd that you're taking out part. It seems like there's never enough space for the things that we do. There's storage spaces going all over. So I guess I'm a little surprised that tearing out part of the old greenhouse, is there something wrong with it, or?
I will defer to Melissa on that.
Melissa, if you want to step up to the podium.
We are just tearing it down. It's not a very efficient greenhouse at the moment. The HVAC system is not up to standard, really. Plus, we want to recover that space for parking that we're losing with the new greenhouse location. So
that makes sense. It looked like there was plenty of space that you could use for parking, but that makes sense.
yeah.
Thank you.
Haven?
Thanks. Kip, I think you maybe answered the question I had, and that is why is this before us this morning? And it apparently because the building will be in the floodway?
Yeah, any building in the flood hazard zoning district requires a conditional use permit for that. Any type of building like this requires a conditional use permit. And so that's why it's before you today. And again, it's partially within the flood hazard zoning district. Part of it's in the park forest district. If the entire greenhouse were to be in the park forest zoning district, you would not be seeing this item in front of you today. But based on our zoning boundary, that a portion of this new building would be in the flood hazard zoning district.
But we are outside of the floodway.
But they are outside of the floodway. They're just in the flood hazard zone, but it's not within the actual FEMA designated floodway. So again, there would be no moving water. It would be just the overall floodplain that this is in. Flood zone AE, if that helps you out at all.
I'm just going to hop in after Haven on some previous applications. I'm thinking maybe more temporary tents in Canyon Lake Park, things like that. We've asked them to have essentially an emergency readiness program.
Yes.
Is that in place?
Yes, there is.
currently?
Vicky would like to speak.
Vicky?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do. When the public wants to come onto the park system for those temporary uses, there is usually a dense population that comes to that area. So we collaborate closely with the fire department to ensure that there is emergency preparedness to get people out in case of not only flood but fire or if there's a violent activity. Even though we do have an overall emergency preparedness for all city property within the flood hazard district, it's particularly brought to your attention when we know that the public is coming onto the city parkland.
Fair enough.
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Yeah, Kip.
Yeah, Parks Department did submit an evacuation and emergency plan along with this application, so it is in the file. It just was not attached as part of this application as a presentation.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments from the commission? All right. Okay, Mike Gallagher made the motion to approve,
I'll second.
and with the 3 stipulations,
With,
and Vince seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion to approve? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And that is the end of the agenda. Any items for us today, Vicki?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple things. So we actually had several applications on the submittal Friday when this application came in. But a part of what we do before we bring them to you is we review them thoroughly to ensure that they're complete and ready for your action. Unfortunately, the bulk of them had outstanding requirements that had not been met. So we suspended them, and that's our standard. We do it all the time. You usually aren't even aware of it, but in this case, when only one item was completed, it stands out a little bit. What I really wanted to bring to your attention is that, as you know, we have several openings in our department. We have 3 planner openings, an environmental permit technician position opening. The bulk of the rest of today will be interviewing some wonderful candidates. We have been already interviewing for the planner 1 or 2 position, as well as the current planning division manager position. And you may have noticed that that position has not been filled since I was moved into the director's role, and partly that's on me. I held that position for almost 20 years. It's really hard for me to give up ownership, but I can tell you, after 3 years, I'm ready. So we're just amazed at the caliber of candidates that have applied for these positions. So we're very hopeful that in the next few weeks, we'll have a full house for the first time in a lot of years. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted.
Wonderful. Anything from the commission? All right. How about a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Okay, Vince made the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mike Quasny seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye.